Everyone has heard the famous phrase, "No prophet is accepted in his hometown." That's just human nature. Someone else's apples always seem bigger and sweeter. The whole world knows Nostradamus, even though no one can clearly explain what exactly he predicted. After all, the French seer obscured his visions, fearing persecution. Meanwhile, Russia had its own prophet, who accurately foresaw many events and was repeatedly punished for it. He spent more than 20 years in imprisonment. Murderers serve less time. Want to know? Why? Vasily Vasiliev, born a serf in the Tula province in 1757, lived in a village until the age of 25. He then fled to St. Petersburg and fell at the feet of his master, Lev Narishkin, begging for freedom. Can you guess the result? How often were slaves granted liberty just because they wanted it? Strangely enough, Vasily found the right words and was set free. And what did he do with his freedom? You'll never guess. He went to a monastery, and not just any monastery, but Valam, far away, remote, and shrouded in darkness. But even that wasn't enough for him. After taking monastic vows, he retreated to the wilderness, becoming a hermit and spending several years in complete solitude battling his demons and temptations. It was there, far from human eyes, that two angels appeared to him and revealed the future. The hermit left his secluded dwelling and began to travel, sharing his visions. One winter, while staying in a monastery in the Kostroma province, he wrote a book about the fate of Empress Catherine, predicting her death. Not glory and greatness, but death. There was no fast mail, no telegraph at the time, yet the ruler of Russia soon summoned the monk to the capital. A highly educated woman who corresponded with Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Voltaire, and other thinkers was unimpressed by her meeting with a young, stubborn wanderer. After all, who would be pleased to hear a prophecy of their imminent demise? The monk was thrown into a dungeon, where he spent 6 months, until the great ruler passed away. She did not fall to an assassin's hand. The insatiable woman, who had over a dozen lovers, draining millions from the state treasury, died in 1796 of a stroke while tightening her corset. Naturally, her son and heir, Paul, whom she had intended to bypass in favor of her grandson Alexander, did not grieve much. Upon hearing of a prophet who had accurately predicted his mother's death, he decided to meet him. It seemed like a golden opportunity. Seize the moment. But the truth-loving monk refused to flatter, and after his conversation with Paul, he was sent to a monastery renamed Abel and placed under strict watch. For a while, he remained in the monastery, away from events. There, he wrote another book, this time predicting Paul's violent death at the hands of conspirators he had unwittingly nurtured. The new emperor was outraged. This was how the ungrateful monk repaid his kindness. Abel was returned to the dungeons of Schlüsselburg fortress. Once again, the prophet learned of his prophecy coming true while imprisoned. The year was 1801. The next emperor, Alexander I, hearing of the imprisoned prophet, decided to speak with him. But let's clarify, all Russian nobility spoke French fluently. They admired Napoleon, wrote poetry about his genius, and here was a monk proclaiming an impending war with France. That villain Napoleon would burn Moscow. Alexander, who called Bonaparte his brother in letters, did not believe the prophet. Abel was once again thrown into exile, sent to the distant Solovki monastery. What drove him? What compelled him to speak of his visions? Did anyone ever thank him, reward him? Who? For what? 1812. The war happened. The battles were horrific. Borodino. Victory! They are retreating! Napoleon's officers cheered. One more such victory and I shall be left without an army, Napoleon replied. He was right. He lost his army, but not because he won another battle. November, Moscow burned, but Bonaparte fled Russia. Soon Russian troops entered Paris, and the Cossacks, accustomed to quick meals in roadside taverns, shouting "Quick! Quick!" coined a new word, bistro. Sound familiar? After the war's triumphant end, Abel was released, though he was to be kept away from the court and forbidden from spreading his disturbing prophecies. In 1814, he finally gained his long-sought freedom. But in 1826, a cunning woman, exiled from the capital for her foul temper, eager to regain favor with the elites, arranged a meeting with the monk. And fate played its cruel trick. Abel, still naive to human treachery, spoke openly once again. What did he reveal? Perhaps something about the mysterious death of Alexander I in 1825 in Taganrog, or the seeds of the Decembrist uprising. Yes, he foresaw much. Another dénoncage A denunciation followed. More punishment. He was sentenced to life in the Valam monastery. A lifetime sentence for a conversation with a deceitful woman desperate to return to court. After 15 years of monastic imprisonment, a harsh punishment for speaking to a vile opportunist, he died in his beloved Valam in 1841, and once again he foresaw future troubles for the emperors, including the assassination of Alexander II. Alas, not a single book of his survived. Only testimonies and diaries of the time remain. They say Abel knew everything about the fate of the Romanov family, the fall of the empire, and Russia's tragic destiny. But ask any Russian schoolchild which famous prophets they know from history class. Guess what names you'll hear? Rasputin, perhaps? Abel? No. Nostradamus. Vanga. The path of least resistance. We think in cliches. Mainstream? No prophet is accepted in his hometown.